The nearest grocery store, library, or coffee shop are probably all spread across town several blocks from you. You can catch the bus or drive yourself to any of those places. Now imagine that instead of that, your grocery store was above you, the library is in front of you, and the coffee shop is diagonal to you, and they're all accessible within 5 minutes from you. I know, it's hard to imagine. And yet, Prince Mohammed bin Salman of Saudi Arabia is trying to design a city that's exactly as difficult to conceive as this image I've just described to you, and he has called it the Line. It's a 170-kilometer-long, 200-meter wide, and 500-meter above sea level structure covered in glass that reimagines the way cities are designed today. But why? What's wrong with the way our cities are designed today? Oh boy. The design of the Line. So many cities face commuting problems. The Line has 3 layers in its design: the living surface, the surface layer for infrastructure, and the transportation layer where super-fast trains will run across the entire structure. The difference between the Line and a regular city is, well, it's many things. First of all, a regular city today covers an area of land which, if redesigned like the Line, would cover much less of the Earth's surface. As a result, this frees up more of the natural world and habitats to grow as they would. This 200-meter wide, 500-meter high, and 170-kilometer wide smart megacity will be covered in a glass facade and will be designed in such a way that the city has microclimates that protect it from the heat of the region, and all through clean, renewable energy and immaculate design. Hopefully. The Line is designed in the Tabuk province, just where it will be close to Egypt, the Gulf of Aqaba, the Red Sea, and the Suez Canal. The Line is at the heart of key trade routes. Suddenly, this parched desert land is looking like prime real estate. And when completed, the city will have 0 carbon emissions, deliver clean mineral water to every home, have multimodal autonomous transport systems for comfortable high-speed movement across the structure, ultra-fast internet connectivity, a controlled climate, and so much more. As we all know, cities today were built on the back of the Industrial Revolution, with cars and machinery at the heart of their design. Powered by fossil fuels, carbon emissions are at an all-time high, and several cities have faced water problems, with some cities even sinking due to the extraction of freshwater reservoirs beneath the ground. The ecosystems in and around these cities suffer, and of course, there's the commuting problem. Some things that have been repeated by Mohammed bin Salman and other project heads include the idea that this structure, the Line that is built with humans in mind, as opposed to cities today that are made with means of transport like cars in mind. Another important statement is that they plan to use this project to force the acceleration of human innovation. 2 bold claims that we'll have to examine. Innovation and world firsts. First, the Line makes use of 3-dimensional space. In a regular city, you can only move forward or backward using cars, trains, or other vehicles. In the Line, however, you can move diagonally in any direction in addition to moving back and forth. And this is possible because roads for cars, buses, and whatnot do not exist in the Line. You see, it's a compact space. The most that individuals can do is cycle around. But the 3rd layer of the structure, the transportation layer, is going to include freight operations, AI-enabled vehicles, and an ultra-fast rail system that can take you from one point in the 170-kilometer structure to another, all in 20 minutes or less. This means that the train will have to be moving at 512 to 525 kilometers per hour. That's faster than the current fastest train existing today, the Shanghai Maglev, which runs at 460 kilometers per hour. And since such technology doesn't exist yet, they'd have to create it themselves. The smart city has multimodal mobility, and this will involve electric vertical transport using drones and air taxis like those from companies like Volocopter, Joby, and Whisk. The head of mobility for the project, Florian Lenert, says that they'll come up with smart solutions so that all these don't create new traffic problems and noise pollution. Every innovation has its potential side effects, and Gavin von Tonder, the head of the water sector, knows this too. His department has already begun the world's most advanced water desalination plant. They'll use water directly from the oceans and channel it to a solar dome where the energy of the sun will be used to purify the water, and then channel it to smaller tanks. This plant will be producing 1 million cubic meters of water for the city each day, and when the line is completed, it will be the first time mineral water is delivered straight to all the homes in a city. What's better, Van Tonder says that the process is renewable, self-sustaining, cost-effective, and clean. Clean because the environmental issues of disposing of solid or liquid waste back into the ocean during desalination will be eliminated. Wastewater will be recycled to clean water, and solid waste like brine will be mined for its mineral, with the hope of creating profit, making the process cost-effective. That's not the only thing in the line that's going to have zero impact on the environment. Like the mobility sector, which will have zero carbon emissions using electric vehicles, the energy sources of the line will be generated entirely from solar and wind. The pristine location of the city means that 40% of the world is accessible within 6 hours. And the architects designing this world-first Borough Happold are no strangers to pioneering in architecture. Led by CEO Roger Nichols, they'll be attempting to build a straight line across the desert region of the Tabuk province, through different terrains including mountains. As you can see, the prince's claim that this project will push human innovation forward is quite true. I mean, already the progress with desalination is the first of its kind worldwide. It means a lot of things for our future as a species. And there are other world firsts too, from drones and air taxis scaling for an entire city, to the fastest rail system, to a city that has zero carbon emissions, to a city relying entirely on renewable energy. There are a lot of potential firsts in the world of innovation at the line. But why is the Crown Prince and de facto ruler Mohammed bin Salman doing this? It might sound like a weird question. I mean, they're trying to make the world a better place, right? But think about it. Is Saudi Arabia so concerned about saving the world that they'll resort to spending from the royal coffers just to do a magnificent science experiment hoping the world will pick an interest? Why Saudi Arabia is building the line. The line is part of the Saudi Vision 2030 project, which they claim will create 380,000 jobs and add over $48 billion to the nation's GDP. The collective project which the line falls under is called Neom, a larger city consisting of other mega projects like the Oxagon or the Neom International Airport. The whole thing had an initial budget of $500 billion, but people have speculated that, like most mega projects, the initial budget may be short of the eventual cost of the project, something in the ballpark of $1 trillion. The Arab world is probably the most audacious when it comes to glamorous, gargantuan, and sometimes unsustainable mega projects. And a nation at the heart of this is the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia with its latest project. But why are several Arab countries building these ridiculous structures? Well, the short answer is oil. Oh, you want a longer answer? Well, if you insist, then who am I to disagree? The more detailed answer is that, like other monarchs in the Middle East before him, Mohammed bin Salman, or MBS, wants to diversify the economy so that they're not entirely dependent on the fossil fuel economy. The world is moving towards other sources of energy that provide more energy, are not in finite amounts, and are much safer for the environment than fossil fuels. As a matter of fact, another billion-dollar project in production right now is the International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor, or ITER, that I might make a video on soon. Subscribe so you get notifications for that. This nuclear reactor will produce energy the same way the sun does. ITER's fuel, deuterium, is readily and abundantly available in seawater. And with the other innovation like electric cars moving so fast as well, the end is near for crude oil. Well, not near, but it's coming. And the Middle East has to pivot to be at the forefront of this disruption. It's swim or sink. But like every mega project ever, the line is revolutionary to some and revolting to others. For one, several people have called it an architectural nightmare, saying it will never work. Others have mentioned ecological problems for a structure cutting through habitats in the desert, and others have cited human rights issues. Of course, because the line is going to displace a group known as the Hawiyat tribe, and even their refusal to relocate for the trillion-dollar project has landed some of them 50-year prison sentences. Hardly a fair price for not wanting to vacate your home. But this is not surprising considering many have accused MBS of the killing and dismembering of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. As a matter of fact, some even see this as a project MBS wants to use to launder his image as a ruthless dictator, especially following some of his more progressive gender laws allowing women to drive and such, as well as his purchase of the Premier League football club Newcastle through the private investment fund. At the end of the day, we'll just have to wait and see. But if there's one thing we know about the Middle Eastern monarchs, it's that they don't back down from an absolutely expensive and lavish mega project. If you like this video, well then show it. Hit the like button and I'll see you on the next one.